Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and I'm here today to show you how I have got my Witchy Bullet Journal, the journal that really runs my entire life, set up for the month of September. I was initially going to do a more in-depth video where I filmed my predictions and I sped up some parts, just make it fancier. And then this month, which I'm going to flip through, kind of got away from me. If that is something you would be interested in, slightly fancier versions of this video, more sped up parts, just give me your feedback on my monthly journal setup videos. Let me know what you would like to see, and you can do that down in the comments below. So August, I had the theme of really intuition. The Queen of Cups was my card for the month of August. I did a page about my astrology overview. You can see the whole setup up above in the cards. It worked pretty well. But I decided to change things up. I fell off the wagon of tracking my water. My content calendar, like for my planning of my content, this works really well like this. The Moon Magic. This didn't end up working. I'm still determined to find a way to make it work, and I'll show you what I'm trying currently in a moment. And then my All the Things I Love, where instead of having different logs for a gratitude, a victory for my wife and my son, where I write something of those each day, I tried this and I didn't like it. I liked it and I'm still doing it, but it didn't feel right. And then the big thing, the month in tarot. As I said, I was doing this for, and I walked through it in my August video. You can check it out up above in the cards. What I decided to do was I'm starting a video series, an ongoing one on my channel, where every month I talk to you about my month in tarot. And I was working with intuition this month, and I had this spread to try doing some tracking for that. As you can see, it didn't go anywhere. I did write down important like tarot things that went on for the month, but stay tuned if you want to see and hear more about my tarot practice for the month of August. Just stay tuned. You can subscribe to this channel, and I will have the month of tarot video coming out, I believe, next week. We can check that right here. Yeah, it should be coming out. It should be coming out at the beginning of the month, next Friday, I believe. Anywho, for the rest of the month, I've got my intuitive reading. I did a video where I did this reading, where I did my Unlock Your Intuition spread. That's linked up above in the cards. This was the weekly I was working with. I did a moon return. Another weekly. Basically what started happening through the month is I'm tweaking things again, trying to figure out what works best, because I really loved my weekly, but I wanted more space. I wanted to find a way to do a weekly, to do more things for my daily practice that I want to track in my journal, and it wasn't fitting in the weekly I already have, which is this one. And I don't like doing full daily pages in this journal. I tried a few, as you can see. Here's one. This is where I tried to do one. Here's my September predictions. We'll come back to that in a moment. This is a spread I'm still working on, which is a big reading I created for my Mars return. I'm thinking of doing a video on this for my channel members. I do have channel membership now. You can check that out by clicking the join button underneath this video and see some more details. Here's another time where I tried to do a whole daily and it just wasn't working. And then here's what I've come with. If any of that was off center, I apologize. So what was happening was there's lots of things I want to do. There's lots of little things I want to do in my daily practice. One is this, not that one. One is this. doing the moon magic thing. And having it here wasn't working. Certain things that work well tracking monthly, others I kind of, if there's something I want to do daily that's a bit more intentional than, say, like brushing my teeth, having a dedicated monthly spread for something like this wasn't working. So I was like, okay, so I wanted a place to do this. And the idea of this was just to build my practice where I'm working more with the moon phases. Because I'm a Cancer rising sign, working with the moon is very important to me. It might not be to every Cancer rising sign, though it's always astrologically recommended. Because I am a professional astrologer and because of just my spiritual beliefs, working with the moon is extremely important to me. So I created this spread so I could try and work on some monthly moon stuff. Kind of similar to how previously I had set up this. Kind of similar to this, the intention behind this, which I did a whole video on this, it's up above in the cards, and the intention behind this was to do more planning and stuff with the moon throughout the month. But having it on monthly didn't work. And another thing that happened is I've recently expanded my daily draw practice. So, which I'll talk more about in my month in tarot August video, which is coming out soon. The one I already mentioned. And then the third part was something happens in that if I don't, with the moon phases here, I kind of lose some of the details. This is a thing that I struggle with my weekly spreads. This was last week, in that over time, it's like it becomes harder for me to focus on the details. That's part of what makes a daily so effective for me, is because setting it up every day brings my attention back to it. It brings my focus back to it. It kind of recenters me. But I don't like dailies. I haven't found a method of doing dailies that I like in this size format, but I also don't want to go back to the A5 size format. What I really do like is big things like this. So what I'm trying to do is solve those problems. So I was trying to solve the problems of wanting to work with the moon more, wanting to expand my daily tarot practice, and wanting to just have a moment to recenter and refocus on each day so I can see what's going on. So I'm still figuring that out. What I'm trying right now is I've created basically 2 weeklies for myself. I have my Witch Weekly here, which I'm doing today. It's Wednesday as I'm filming this, and I love it. This is going quite well. And this is an answer to the daily practice expanding, the moon work, and whatnot. So the moon work wise, and I'll talk to you about the tarot practice in that video. The moon work wise, I have each day a little corner here with the moon energy, and then I have this box for me to write what I'm wanting to do with the moon. And I'm hoping to develop with this and just kind of find ways to work with the moon more. It's all very new. So I've got this, and then the big box, this box is for my week ahead, and then the big boxes are for my daily tarot practice, which I'm really loving. So that part's amazing. The rest is still tweaking. And then what I did for my weekly today was I have the same thing. I didn't remember to write the astrology here. And then over here on this page, I have 2 columns for a to-do list, for just a big task list, where I just write down where I write down, on this side I write down all my work stuff, and on this side I write down my home stuff. I have no clue if this is going to stay, though I really love, my thing I really love about this size journal is creating big layouts of like hubs of information, which I leaned into for September's setup. So I have 2 spreads left to have new weeklies, and then extras because there's some moons and stuff. And then we get into September. My card for the month of September is the Empress, and specifically for the Star Seeker Tarot, because this is a very specialty, my year ahead spread practice is a specialty reading service that I've created and that I offer to others using the Heavenly Bodies astrology deck to bring in the astrology and the Star Seeker Tarot to explore things and find themes and energetic stuff. This is a service I do offer as a professional. It's linked in my description box. There's my website and you can check that out. And if you have any questions, you can email me. Anywho, the Empress is my card of the month. And when I did the predictions, let's leave her here and let's go back to the predictions page. Whereabouts was it? Here we go. When we did the predictions, I looked at the fact that I looked at the sequence of these last few months' cards. July, I had the Emperor card. This month in August, I had the Queen of Cups. And then for September, I have the Empress. And it created this really interesting sequence. So I pulled out those cards and I wrote about the sequence and what it was standing out to me. So let me see. I thought this sequence of cards was interesting when I first pulled them, and now I'm here looking at September with the final card in the sequence, the Empress. I feel like I've been journeying with learning more about my fire and water, how out of control my fire still is, fueled by such anger. Then learning how beautiful I feel in this Queen of Cups intuitive energy. Looking at these now, it's like the Empress is my Venus, and I feel like she's kind of the combination between the two. I don't get how or why she feels partly fiery, and yet she does. She is the intuitive flowing of the fires of creation. And then I have a quote. The Emperor builds the protective boundary which allows the Empress to create freely. I wrote, I've been using anger to protect myself and to put up boundaries automatically instead of intentionally building and living within my boundaries. I need will to protect myself, not anger. The Empress says, this is a quote from the book. All the quotes are from the guidebook. The Empress says, it's time to breathe life into something new. Then I have my cards that I pulled. I pulled the Empress, the Eight of Swords, the Magician, and the Four of Swords, and those were supportive cards I pulled to explore the Empress theme more in depth. And the number of cards I pulled was determined by my astrology, my personal birth chart, and what I got was, you have a container of understanding. Now let's actually create your life of your imagining. And that's how I got my theme of creating my life, which I actually forgot to put into here. Oh wait, no, I did. I just didn't color it. So I'm gonna use this one. Creating my life ended up being my theme. And that is what I went with for the month of September. So what I really wanted to create with this drawing, because I'm really enjoying this drawing. And what I really wanted to create was this feeling of moving from this darker, damper forest where things are broken and they're just not quite living and thriving. They might still be alive, they might be surviving, but they are not thriving. And I wanted on this side it to look more like thriving with flowers and dandelions. I wanted it to feel like my happy place and to look like my happy place. And the big thing that draws it together is this little seed here. My idea being, this seed represents the life I am creating for myself, the seed I am planting now. And the how I imagined it would be in the future is like this seed would grow into a big, beautiful tree. And then on the one side, you'd have what looked like maybe it was surviving, but it wasn't living, it wasn't thriving. And then on this side, you have this beautiful meadow of my happy place dreams. So that's what I tried to go with the picture. I did a lot of blacks just in the background of this to give it that kind of edgier feeling. I'm really pleased with how my trees turned out. They looked awful, but then once I colored them in, they looked so much better. I was like, oh, all right, cool. I have the quote here. And I did end up going with another quote from the Starseeker Tarot entry of the Empress from the guidebook. And it says, "She lives and breathes creation energy. Her purpose is to create and sustain life." And I felt that worked really well because this month is all about me trying to create my sustainable life. Now, you might notice there's no cutouts, which I know is a bit less exciting visually. But when you do a bunch of cutouts, it starts to get weird to write on it. And and this was the point previously when I started to get sick of the cutouts and I thought maybe they weren't going to be best. And so I moved back to the A5. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in an A5. I want this room to grow and explore and expand. And what I really like is, as I said, these like dashboardy type spreads where I get lots of information. So I decided to try a monthly with spreads like that. And here's my first one. It's not super pretty and colorful now, but it is going to get filled in with a lot more color. So what I've done up here is I've got this is my personal dashboard. This is like the place for my personal development, for really taking care of and nurturing myself. Up here I've got the scale where I'm going to do my goal planning. That is still going to happen. I'm sorry that it's not included in today's video. I would appreciate feedback if that's something you've been enjoying hearing me talk about, how I'm trying to goal set and plan based on astrology. Please let me know. I might be changing how I do it, but still do it with astrology. I don't know. For now, I have the scale so I can evaluate the 12 areas of my life. And then over here, this blank space is where I'm going to write goal ideas. I did do some of my goals this month. So that's what was here. I got my 1,000 subscribers. I launched my YouTube membership. So I did do some of these goals. Goal setting's always a thing that's weird for me. But so that's that section. And then over here, this whole rest of it is things to contribute to my health and wellness. So I have a place to write my symptoms and medications. Most of the time I don't have to write much, but I do need to always have this to record down things. Because if I take Claritin, I can only take it every minimum 12 hours, ideally every 24 hours, or like you have to regulate meds. So I need this. A place to write my cycle. And then I have a place to track my sleep. Instead of highlighting, what I decided I want to try is doing like dots between it and just visually highlighting the areas rather than writing numbers about 1 billion times and hurting my hand. So I've got that. Over here, I've got the water tracker that I did last month. I want to try again. And the idea of this water tracker is once I've woken up for the day, setting an alarm for every hour. So, and that alarm is the sound reminder for me to pause and to just have some water, even if it's just a little sip. And for me to also remind my son to drink water when he is home. So that's that. It was going really well at the beginning of the month, then it got kind of weird. That's fine. So I have that again. And then I have some activity trackers. I have walking, which I did last month, but it didn't really work. I did skipping. These are things I'm hoping to do every day. I I took off the swimming because it's going to be September. I don't know when the outdoor pool we've been going to closes. I assume in September. I've got a tooth here for brushing my teeth. This is a habit that I recently worked on this year, which has been going overall really well, but it has started to become easier to forget again, and I don't want to lose that, so I've got that here. I've got a little section for what's supposed to look like a plate of food, to be like paying attention to how much food I'm putting on my plate, because I tend to overeat. I tend to put too much and then eat too much. So that kind of thing. I have music notes for singing. I want to sing every day or dance or just something with music. And then I have 2 little cards for tarot. And this would be for like my expanded practice. Or doing something with tarot because it brings such joy to my life. So that's my personal dashboard. Next is my professional dashboard, which is much more detailed and expanded. I'm really excited about this work dashboard, and I'm hoping it will be helpful. There's definitely aspects of it that I know are helpful. So I've got my calendar where I write out the videos I'm doing this month. Great. Down here, I have the written out, instead of calendar format, I have the written out calendar of words of the next 2 months. So that way I can make sure, because there's overlap. The last week of September, at the latest, I need to start working on October stuff. And there's just a lot more that I'm growing and developing now with having added my channel membership. So I will be including those things written on here. So I need to start looking at a bit further ahead. I need to actually, maybe I should do a membership thing. I don't know. Anyways, we'll see. It's going to be my first month with membership active, so I have lives throughout the month and whatnot. So I gotta look at stuff from a new expanding lens. So I've made the calendar smaller. I have a place here to see the next 2 months coming up. This is really supposed to be for my public channel videos. So that way, if those are better organized and kept going, then I have more time and such for my member content. It just brings a better balance. I have a big task list here, and the idea of this task list was to write down all the steps of my videos in order. So fill in my calendar, fill in these, and write down all the steps in order. Maybe put a date I need them done by, so that way I can make sure they're done. Something like that. Just a big ass list of me being able to see, okay, I need to do this still, yada, yada, yada. And then down here, I have my video ideas section where I have a place for the public channel, where I write down ideas of videos I'd like to do for the public channel, and then for my members channel, or for my membership. So that is that. And the last spread I ended up doing was a new take on the important things to remember part. What I struggled with, which is why I changed it last month, is sometimes things get very redundant. And for some of the logs, I feel like forcing myself to try and write something every day, in some cases was causing me more harm. Like on the days when we're really busy and I don't get to spend much time with my wife, not feeling like I have something to write in on her log kind of was making me feel guilty and was feeding some unhealthy thought patterns in my brain that I don't like. So I have a little square for me to just freehand into a place for gratitudes, victories, memories, a place for my wife and my son, and then this big one is for tarot. So this was my solution to the fact that my month in tarot spread is gone, because the plan currently is to do more tarot stuff on like the witchy weekly spread as opposed to a big monthly spread. So this is the place for me to just write down the important things, like I pulled the Queen of Swords 10 times or whatever significant things where it's like, oh, I need to remember this to put in my video. It's a place for me to write it down. And that's all I have got in my setup right now. I'm excited. I'm also just thinking and turning a lot of things over in my head. I love how this looks so much. Of like, I miss the creativity in my journaling, and I love the drawing aspect. I'm missing kind of the oomph for some of it. I really want a new journal. This makes me feel umphy. At the same time, I'm learning as my life and my work has grown and expanded. I'm figuring out what stuff works for me as I'm actually putting way more effort into things than I used to. So I don't know how these are going to go. I think this will be good. Might need some more tweaking to just include places for lives. I'm not sure. I'll learn and figure it out as I go. But I'm also really wanting to expand the spiritual, creative part of my journaling practice. It means so much to me. Stuff like that moon spread I showed you. That's where I feel it. I set it up and I go, yes, this is beautiful. I want to bring back more of the like Book of Shadows kind of style. So I want to streamline the planning stuff so that way I can expand the stuff that I want to spend more time on. But that's really it. So that's what's going on in there. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to let me know if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification. In the comments down below, let me know, do you journal because of the creative part or because of the way it helps your brain? I feel like I do both, and finding the balance between the two is an ever-changing thing in my life. So let me know your thoughts on that. As I mentioned, I do have channel membership, so you can check out those tiers. I do have a tier specifically for my friends who like my planner stuff. So check those out, and in the description box there's my website where you can check out my services and all of that other good stuff. And I will let you go here, and I will see you again very, very soon. Lots of love. Bye.